Good morning, welcome to Love Answers, and today we're going to be doing some Heartbreak Ask cards. And for those of you that have been to my channel before, the Heartbreak Ask cards are things that come up when we go through heartbreak. Normally it's the things that kind of repeat over and over in your head that drive you absolutely insane and you feel like you have no answer to. So I'm going to do some of those cards, and these will be based on, my own experiences, my own lessons, and kind of what I teach in my work. And then we'll be doing some love answers cards, and the love answers cards are all based around nature. So it's fire, earth, air and water, and these will be based on photographs that I've taken kind of representing these things, but also based around nature and how nature is our greatest healer. And again, that's kind of what I teach in my everyday work. So with this, the differences with the channel is I'm kind of adapting it to love, because I've always had this obsession and this desire to understand exactly what love is, because I think there's so many different variations of love, and there's so many different areas of what we believe love is, how we believe we should be in love, how love translates, how love can destroy us, how love can elevate us. And I think there's so many different angles and different understandings, but at the core, from my experience and having analysed it to death in every angle, and going on my own 20-year spiritual journey, I believe that love is very simple. And that's kind of what I want to share on this channel, is sharing my story, which you'll see in the story videos. And I'm just going to share my story of one particular heartbreak and how I kind of grew through that heartbreak. And I think it's not about overcoming heartbreak, because I think we're all like, okay, let's get over the heartbreak. And I don't think it's about that. I think it's about growing and taking the grief to growth. And I think that's the great journey, and it's an amazing journey. It's an incredible journey. It's an inspiring journey. It's a heartbreaking journey. But I think it's a journey that if you're lucky enough to care that much and have the capacity to love that much, then that journey will be a pretty amazing journey. And I think so much of it is about staying in the light, which is why I have the candle lit. And I think this is one of the little tips, and I've shared it in many of my videos. I think it's one of the little tips that, light a candle every day to bring good energy. I light the candle on these videos to put good energy out there. Where there's light, there's life. And where there's life, anything is possible. So, whatever stage of heartbreak you're in, whether it's the beginning, whether it's kind of flipping in and out of wanting someone who's left, or grieving someone who's passed on, or even a pet, whether you're dipping in and out of it, still light the candle every day, whatever situation. Or even if it's like 10 years down the line and you have moments of longing and you feel like you haven't gotten over that person, still light a candle, but light that candle for you, because it's there to bring light into your life and to empower you. And so much about what I'm going to teach on here, and it's not really teaching, it's sharing. I'm not really going to teach, because we all have a different journey, and I can share with you the lessons that I've learned. And I guess people say that if they're lessons you've learned, a lesson is to teaching. But this is more about me sharing my lesson and you taking from it what you feel is relevant to you, where you're at on this part of your journey. So what we're going to do, we're going to start with some Heartbreak Ask cards. Now these cards, I've just written these cards. It's really simple, and I'm just going to shuffle the cards. You have to excuse me, I've got a bit of a cold or something today. Oh. Okay, so whatever comes out is what I'm going to read. And so the first Heartbreak asks is, maybe you will call. I think this is one of the really difficult ones when we go through heartbreak, because whatever situation or however dramatic an ending is, if it's been kind of a challenging ending and we still want to be in that relationship or friendship or whatever situation it is, because I think we always think about it as romantic, but heartbreak can be from anything. It can be from losing a job, it can be losing your dream, it can be losing friendships that are very dear to you, and obviously a relationship, a romantic relationship. But I think this is one of the things, is when we don't hear from someone, or even if it's amicable and someone says, right, okay, we're going to have a separation and we're just going to spend some time apart, please don't contact me. I think it's absolutely near on impossible when someone says, right, we're going to have a separation, or we're finished, or it's over. Because when there's an ending, our natural instinct is to reach out. Whether we actually desire the person, want the person, it feels like a level of rejection. So we naturally, none of us, doesn't matter who we are, don't want to feel rejected. So, you know, if you watch, one of my favourite things is watching, I love horses, and if you watch horses in a field, if you spend some time kind of observing them, if a horse turns its back on another horse, the other horse will continue grazing for a bit. But if you watch it for a long period of time, the horse will always go to the horse with the back turned. And that's what happens in life. When we turn our back on someone or something, then it's energetic, it's energy, it's magnetic, and we gravitate. So if you take away the physical body and take it down to energy, when an energy shifts, then it draws the other energy in. So almost like a magnet. So I think so much of it, when someone says, right, it's over, let's finish, it's, you know, let's separate, we have that constant question, maybe you will call, maybe you'll call, will you call, won't you call, I don't know if you'll call. And it drives us insane. And I think it's one of those things that when you're in it, it's all consuming and it's overwhelming. And when someone tries to distract you from that, you, even if you're having a conversation with someone, you still have that going over in your head. And what's really interesting about me sharing these videos is, obviously I've done kind of a 20-year spiritual, or longer than that actually, spiritual journey. And the story that I'll be sharing in the story videos is the person I was 20 years ago. And in that story, I'm going to share that story over those, that I kind of went through over those 20 years, based around one particular relationship and heartbreak. And then I will share my story now. And they're very different, probably not even the same person. So when I'm sharing these videos, I'm sharing kind of my knowledge back then. And when you're in that place, you literally, people could be talking to you, as I said before, and your only focus is playing over, I think, should I check my phone? Maybe they've called, maybe they haven't called, maybe they'll call later. Actually, maybe they'll call this evening. Maybe they've been to work. Maybe they'll come home early tonight and call me. Maybe they'll call tomorrow morning. Maybe they'll call at the weekend, because maybe the weekend's easier for them. But maybe they'll leave it a week and maybe they'll call next week. And I think the silence in this is deafening. I mean, I think that's one of the hardest things when you go through this, is that absolute silence. It, you know, silence can be amazing. And on this journey that we're going on and that I'm going to share with you, silence is such a huge part of it, because I feel that silence, in the silence, you will find the answer to everything. But this level of silence is not a silence that you're actually agreeing to. It's not a silence that you're actually deciding on. And when we actually decide on being silent and actually set the intention of I'm going to be silent for 10 minutes, you're doing it under your own control, and you're doing it for yourself, for the greater vision, the greater purpose, the greater understanding. But when the silence is waiting, and really deep down, when someone says, look, I want to have some time out, or let's not speak, you know deep down that the reality of them, they're not going to call. But you hope that they will call, because you hope in that call that that's going to express how they feel about you. And I'm saying this from actually 100% having been there. You know, I've lived that. I've totally lived that. And what I would say with reflection on where I am now is it's okay to have that. It's okay to have the angst and the kind of intense feelings and the wanting and the desire and the anticipation, because it's there, it's part of it. You're a human being and you're going to feel those emotions. But what I would say upon reflection is, don't try to stop those thoughts. Just allow those thoughts to come. And when those thoughts do come, just take a moment to, every time you have a thought of maybe you will call at this time or that time or whatever, just write it down. Nothing else, just literally write it down on a piece of paper. Even if it's, oh gosh, it was only 10 minutes ago that I thought this. Just keep writing it down and keep writing it down, keep writing it down. And when we do the course that I have coming up, what I'm going to do a very short, immediate heartbreak course. And then I'm going to do a much longer, deeper spiritual course with a much more kind of understanding on a much deeper level. But the first one I'm going to do is literally a very, very simple 7 steps to overcoming heartbreak in the immediacy. And one of the things in there is just write down every time you have this thought, maybe you will call, write it down, write it down, write it down. The more you write it down, the more you're clearing that energy. And don't try to stop yourself having those thoughts, because I know sometimes you can get that frustrated. You know, we get frustrated, we go, oh my God, I just wish I could get rid of that. I don't want to think that anymore. I really can't bear. Why can't I just not think about it? Don't put that pressure on yourself. Just allow the thoughts to come, like a train passing through a train station. You know, you're standing on the platform, the train comes in, you see it, you feel the wind, you feel the speed, you feel the train pass by you, and then everything calms and it's gone. So when these thoughts come, just think it's just the train passing through. It's just the train passing through. And with time, it will start to calm down. And I think that's one of the things when you're going through heartbreak, you really feel as though you'll never, ever, ever feel any different. And I can tell you, and when you read my story, you will absolutely see that I went through absolute insane. I mean, I was like crazy. It was almost like insanity in the intensity of the emotions. And when I look back on it now, I, say to her, that person, just stop, allow it, write it down, just keep writing, don't try to stop it, just allow it to flow. And if you allow it to flow, you will grow. Just allow that flow of the feelings to come. And I think so much of us try to suppress, and when we suppress, we digress. Because the whole purpose of heartbreak is to allow you to flow, to allow your feelings to kind of overflow so that you can experience something different. And again, this is my views on heartbreak. Other people may have some completely different views, and that's absolutely fine. This is just based on my own experience and how I view it. And I think heartbreak is amazing. It's absolutely one of the most incredible things. And if you've been through heartbreak, I think it's a gift. And you can absolutely use that gift to your benefit. So I'm going to share with you how you can do that in these videos. Okay, so the next one. Will I ever feel like me again? Now, I don't think you can see that, can you? Will I ever feel like me again? What I would say is you will feel like a new version of you. Because when you go through heartbreak, you will never be the same. And I think we can choose, we can't choose whether we have our hearts broken, but what we can choose is the level and length of the suffering. And like back then, when I went through one particular heartbreak, the one that I'm sharing on this channel, I didn't have that awareness. I kind of went through the suffering. And I think, oh, that's my phone. Just ignore that for a second. I'll just wait for it to stop, actually, because when I went through that heartbreak, it was the suffering. And when I look at it now, I didn't need to suffer like that. But I'm grateful for the suffering because it obviously took me on the journey that I'm on today. But, the level of suffering. So I think you can choose who the person you become is 100%. So to the question, will I ever feel like me again? No, you won't feel like you, but you can choose which new you will go on and live their life in this world. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, about doing what I'm doing, because I think so many people go through heartbreak and they never ever recover from the heartbreak. They stay stuck in the heartbreak, and you can still have those feelings and still have those experiences, but you can 100% grow and live your life how you're supposed to live and on the path that is your destiny, because heartbreaks bring you to your destiny. I believe this 100%. It's way bigger than the physical. It's a much deeper, beautiful, enlightening spiritual journey. And that's what I'm going to share with you. I'm going to show you different versions and different layers of the journey of love and exactly what it is. Okay, so I hope those things kind of helped or just made you see things differently. So what I would do, really try to light a candle every day and just have it on in the room. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It's just going to bring good energy and light into your life. Make time to stop in your day and just to write down all the things that are overwhelming in your head. Just put them onto the page and just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. And it will just clear the chaos and the clutter a little bit. But I will go a lot deeper into this when I do the little kind of course that I'm going to be doing, and you'll get a kind of deeper insight into everything. Okay, well, have an amazing day. And if you're in that really emotional state, cry, release. Tears are amazing. They're absolutely incredible. They're the greatest release. And when you cry, you feel the pain. And then when you release the tears, what do you feel? You feel relief. You feel light. You feel a level of peace. So go with it. I say to people, if you want to cry, cry. There's nothing wrong with crying. Just let it out. Let it flow. Let it go. And it is that. It's let it flow, let it go. So whatever you're feeling, let it flow, let it go. And just know that as quickly as things can change one way and you can feel totally horrific, things can change back the other way just as quickly. Life is so unpredictable and we never know what magic is around the corner. So that's it for today. So have an amazing day, and I will see you again soon. Take care.